This is a stimulus update and daily news report. The Senate passed another vote for the bipartisan infrastructure package, another procedural vote, but I do have the timeline of when they're going to have the big final vote to pass the bipartisan infrastructure package. I'll give you all the details on that. We'll also talk about the latest with the minimum wage raise, what's going on with the debt ceiling, and answer the important question regarding a fourth stimulus check. Will petitions have an effect on the decision making for a fourth stimulus check, with the petitions going up to 3 million signatures so far? Then I'll answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Hope you're having a more than mundane Monday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So Dr. Fauci is hopeful that COVID vaccines will get full approval by the FDA within weeks. Currently, it is not. The vaccines are not approved by the FDA. They are just authorized for emergency use only. So what they're saying is that if it is approved by the FDA, this will probably increase vaccination rates. Let me know down in the comments below if it is FDA approved. Will you get vaccinated then? Let me know your thoughts on that. And then in terms of vaccine passports, a judge rules Florida can't ban Norwegian Cruise Line vaccine passports. So Norwegian Cruise Line, big multi-thousand passenger cruise ships like this right here. What's going on here is they want to have vaccine passports, saying that anyone who gets on the ship has to show proof of vaccines. Governor DeSantis of Florida ruled out that vaccine passports were completely illegal and banned in the state of Florida, but now the judge ruled that Norwegian Cruise Line can have vaccine passports. So we're probably going to start to see that as a trend as well. Next, let's talk about minimum wage. What's going on with that? So Bernie Sanders tweeted, CEO pay has exploded by 52.6% in 2009. Meanwhile, the federal minimum wage, and he's showing that since 2009, the minimum wage was $7.25, and as of today, 2021, the federal minimum wage is $7.25, saying, yeah, it's time to raise the minimum wage. So we had a big push for the federal minimum wage a few months ago, or it feels like a few months ago, but maybe like 6 months ago, but it did not pass. So now what's going on is there's a lot of companies that are passing minimum wage. So for example, CVS, which is a drugstore, pharmacy type of store, will raise its minimum wage to $15 an hour. And then we're also seeing it in different states are raising their minimum wage, different cities too. And for the first time, average pay for supermarket and restaurant workers top $15 an hour. So $15 an hour is suddenly the rule, not the exception for U.S. workers. It's a major shift from pre-pandemic norms. So although the federal minimum wage is still $7.25 an hour, looks like $15 an hour is still happening in a lot of different places, and it's becoming the norm. And next, let's talk about what's going on with Senate. The vote. Yesterday's video, I said that they had a vote, a procedural vote. It passed. Another procedural vote. I don't understand the point of all these procedural votes. Why can't they just get it done? Well, there are two reasons why they can't get it done. Before I get into those two reasons, the way it voted was 68 to 29 to end the debate, which means that the Democrats just needed 10 votes from the Republicans. They actually got 18 in order for this to fully pass. Now, the reason why this is not passing is because of a certain way that they have this 30-hour rule. I'm going to play this video clip explaining more about that.
The Senate is still grinding away at that infrastructure bill. It does have the votes to pass, but lawmakers are still haggling over two things: the clock and crypto. Senators voted 68-29 last night to end the debate on the legislation by early Tuesday morning at the very latest. Now, they could wrap up before that if every single senator agrees. But Republican Bill Hagerty of Tennessee has been holding out, criticizing the bill's trillion-dollar price tag and questioning the revenue raisers. GOP Senator Todd Young also came out against the package last night, in part because it's linked to Democrats' broader $3.5 trillion spending plan. Here's the problem with holding out, though. Unless Republicans agree to speed things up, Democrats won't allow any more amendments to come up for a vote. And that's important because the crypto industry is lobbying hard for changes to new IRS reporting requirements in the bill that would clarify which parts of the industry would be covered. Elon Musk even weighed in on this controversy over the weekend, tweeting, quote, "This is not the time to pick technology winners or losers in cryptocurrency technology. There is no crisis that compels hasty legislation. Now, GOP Senator Cynthia Lummis, who's been working on a fix, said last night that the chamber stands at an impasse. So, guys, if there's no agreement on the clock, there's no chance for crypto. Andrew.
So what does that mean? Where are we? Where are we then?
Yeah, so we're where we were when this whole controversy started. We're back at the language in the bill that says that any crypto brokers must follow these enhanced reporting requirements to the IRS. There had been attempts to change that, both by Senator Warner and by Senator Wyden, that would exempt certain parts of the industry. The crypto industry has been mad about that because they say you can't exempt one part of the industry without exempting these other players, and that essentially the government, as Elon Musk said, is picking winners and losers here. So they really want some clarification and some change to this bill, but without a chance to do amendments, they won't be able to get it.
So as mentioned, there is one GOP senator who's holding it up. A lone GOP senator is slowing down the Biden infrastructure bill he's already opposed to. So this is Bill Hagerty, senator from Tennessee. And basically what he's saying is, or what's going on, the bill is anticipated to pass this weekend, but one senator is refusing to fast track it. So there's two ways to do it. You could do it the fast way or the slow way, which is going to take an additional 30 hours, which would bring the timeline down to Tuesday, which means tomorrow the final vote can actually happen, because with the slow way, there was 30 hours of debate open and they couldn't vote on it until the 30 hours was up. Now keep in mind, we're cutting into the senators, all the Senate, their vacation time, which was supposed to start August 6th. So they're running into their vacation, which hopefully will help speed things up a little more. Here is that Senator Hagerty talking more about the reason why he's slowing it down.
And Senator Hagerty joins us now. Senator Hagerty, I got to give you an A+ on this, because we love somebody who's willing to fight against the odds, but the odds are against you. You have this handful of Republican senators who, for some reason, don't see this as a problem. The fact that more than half of the bill is not paid for, against which the bill's authors said. So how do you fight members of your own party who say this bill's okay?
Well, I certainly do see it as a problem, David. And the last thing I'm going to do is accelerate the process and make it easier for Chuck Schumer to shove this through, just so we can get to the $3.5 trillion totally partisan tax and spending spree that he's got in store for us. Each of my Republican colleagues is going to have to make their own decision. But I think what we've done is bought ourselves some time to actually dig in and understand what's happening and allow the American public to understand what's happening. You know, I was sent to the Senate by the people of Tennessee not to make things more convenient for Chuck Schumer, to expedite things as he wants to. I was sent there to protect the taxpayer's interest. Yes. And that's exactly what I want to do here.
Well, and standing on principle, again, that is a worthy fight. You have backbone, and not many people in politics do. Maybe it's because you're a first-termer. You haven't been corrupted yet by the institution. But even Senator Rand Paul, who's a libertarian from way back, his father was a great libertarian as well, he said it's time to wrap up the debate and get back home for the vacation. I mean, when you're up against Rand Paul because you're standing on good libertarian principles, it's tough.
Well, again, I knew I would have a tough job coming into the United States Senate. I saw the threat coming toward America from the socialist radical policies that the left are putting out. I realize now it's going to be lonely too. But I'm here to represent the people of Tennessee and to look after their best interest, and that's precisely what I intend to do.
Now, besides the fact that the bill is not paid for, and it bothered me, that phrase paid for, because it's paid for by us, by taxpayers, exactly. and we haven't signed off on it. What exactly in the bill do you object to?
Well, if you look at the bill, again, this initial infrastructure bill, it's been billed as infrastructure, but only about a quarter of it is what you or I would call infrastructure, David. I'm talking about roads, bridges, highways, things that actually have a return on investment for taxpayers. A large portion of this is what others call soft infrastructure, but it's really more government involvement, more distortion of the economy. And again, that's what's driving this into the deep, deep red. Again, we're talking over $250 billion. The bill itself, over 2,700 pages. A King James Bible is 1,300 pages, just to put it into perspective. This is crazy. They just opened the numbers up to us hours before Chuck Schumer then tries to push to expedite it, because he's got this $3.5 trillion package that's waiting on the back end. Again, he's trying to shove us in that direction. I'm not going to do anything to expedite his movement toward the transformation of America that Joe Biden has talked about.
So Bill Hagerty trying to slow down this bipartisan infrastructure package, but to be honest, it's out of his hands and you can't slow it down forever. So basically, in my opinion, I think it's just delaying the inevitable. Let me know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. Next, let's talk about the fourth stimulus check. Will petitions have an effect on decision making? So this is a big question right here. With more than 3 million people have collectively signed petitions seeking more direct payments, but the likelihood of a fourth stimulus check is low. So what's going on here? If we look at this petition right here, which is the one I show a lot, so for $2,000 per month to every American, currently it is at 2,772,000 signatures so far. But does this matter? So back to this article right here, basically saying that no politicians are looking to these petitions as a way to pass legislation. So these petitions show that there is a lot of public support for a fourth stimulus check, recurring checks, $2,000 per month checks, but in terms of it actually turning into legislation, politicians would have to introduce legislation into Congress to turn, or at least into the American Families Plan, the human infrastructure, it has so many different names, but that is where the fourth stimulus check would be if there is a fourth stimulus check. At this point, there is no fourth stimulus check, or at least that we know of, that's in that American Families Plan, that human infrastructure. But it could be a thing where, like, just like with the second stimulus check, with that big the big stimulus package, there was no stimulus checks in it until a couple of days before. So we still don't know what's going on with the reconciliation bill. So to answer this question right here, will petitions have an effect? At this point, no politicians are using the petitions to push for it. And we haven't heard any pushes lately from Congress members about a fourth stimulus check, mainly because all their focus is on the bipartisan infrastructure package. Next, let's talk about what's going on with the debt ceiling. So the debt ceiling was supposed to be raised. Basically what a debt ceiling means is, let's just say you have a credit card and it has $10,000 of credit line on it, and you're maxed out at $10,000, what you would need to do is call your credit card company and raise the limit to, let's say, $15,000 so you can spend more on it, which is a horrible habit. I don't recommend anybody doing it, but that's basically what our country is doing. We have $30 trillion, or around $30 trillion in debt, and we're basically trying to extend our credit limit even higher so that we could do more spending on it. So the debt ceiling needed to be raised by August 2nd, which was exactly a week ago, according to Janet Yellen, and basically said that there was going to be irreparable harm if it was not raised by August 2nd. Well, August 2nd came and went, and life is the same as it was before. Yellen presses Congress to raise the debt ceiling through regular order. I haven't covered this the past week, but it's pretty funny. Like almost every day, Janet Yellen's saying, we gotta raise the debt ceiling, we gotta raise it, and nobody's listening. It's not funny, but no one's listening to her. So the reason why I'm laughing is because I could just imagine Janet Yellen just yelling at everybody, just saying, hey, we need to raise the debt ceiling, and no one's listening to her. But here is Senator Rick Scott talking about the debt ceiling, but also answering the question about how during the Trump administration, Republicans raised the debt ceiling by $6.7 trillion. And the Republicans are saying that they don't want to raise the debt ceiling anymore. So this is a pretty interesting argument right here.
Senator, you're talking a lot about the deficit and debt. A number of Republicans are, but it wasn't that way under the Trump administration. In fact, if you look at the numbers, the debt went up at the end of fiscal 2020, $26.9 trillion. The Trump administration and Republicans added $6.7 trillion to the debt. That was since President Obama's last budget, 33% increase. Understanding COVID had a big role in that, but there's not a great track record for Republicans recently to tout themselves as deficit debt hawks, and now to be doing it here.
Oh, I did. I paid off. I walked in as governor of Florida in 2011 with a $4 billion budget deficit, a state that had increased its debt every year by over $1 billion. And in 8 years, working with the legislature, growing our economy, we paid off a third of state debt. Since I've been up here, I've been talking about the debt, how excessive spending causes your family and the poorest families the most money. It's causing inflation. It's causing ridiculous inflation right now.
You're kind of a lone voice, aren't you? Or one of them.
Oh, no. We had a caucus meeting where we said we're not going to raise the debt ceiling without, all Republican senators said, we will not raise the debt ceiling without structural change.
But my point
That's
is,
what we
that
all
you
agreed to
did
do.
under the Trump administration with no strings attached.
I've been up here 2 years, Brett. I am working my tail off. I'm fed up with a government that can't live within their means. Every family in this country has got to figure out how to live within their means. I grew up in a very poor family. My mom had to figure out how to put food on the table without borrowing money. There was nobody that's just going to go throw money at her. So we all have to do it in our personal lives. We have to do it as government. You can do it. Watch how you spend the money. Like on this bill, do it responsibly. Do roads, bridges, airports, and seaports. Don't borrow money.
All right,
grow
Senator,
the economy.
So what are your thoughts on the debt ceiling? Basically, if the debt ceiling gets raised even higher, most likely the Democrats are going to do more spending. And just basically the government in general is going to do more spending and not pay off any of that debt. But we're at $30 trillion and I don't know, life seems the same. We keep hearing every year that it's raising trillions of dollars, but I just don't see a difference. Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. 30 trillion just seems like an arbitrary number. Yes, it's a horrible thing to have debt, but we haven't really seen any consequences of it yet. Next, I'm going to answer the questions you leave for me in the comments. Joanne Johnson asks, or says, a test vote? Are you kidding me? That's like sending a letter to expect a letter. This infrastructure bill is a ridiculous joke. At this moment, I don't care about roads, bridges, and museums. Just get some money out to those of us without young children living on next to nothing. Amen to that. I agree. I know a lot of people don't really care about the roads, bridges, museums, especially with this bipartisan infrastructure package. Unfortunately, it's just the way to get to the human infrastructure, which has all of those stimulus provisions. But I agree. I think people without young children are struggling a lot and definitely need help. Next question, Janice Lewis says, a test vote? Yeah, it seems like they're constantly having test votes and procedural votes. Also, be aware of these scams. Usually it says my name, but it looks like this scammer had a typo here. It says Wise Eli's. So Wise, E-L-Y-S. Instead of Wise Flies, it's Wise Eli's. I don't know if anyone would fall for that, but just be aware, you know, it has my logo here. But that's definitely not me. So it's kind of strange, actually, that they had a typo. Next question, Tammy Rowlands. How many prep votes do they need? This is ridiculous. I agree. I guess they just keep doing it just to say, hey, we're going to have another vote. We're going to have another vote. Maybe to show that they're doing something, but I think we all know that they're not really doing anything. Jenny Patak says, why extend federal unemployment money? There are help wanted and hiring now signs everywhere. I definitely agree with the help wanted and hiring now. Almost everywhere is hiring and help wanted, and even giving like $500, $1,000 sign-up bonuses. I see that at a lot of fast food places saying start now and you get a $1,000 sign-up bonus. But yeah, in terms of extending the federal unemployment money, I believe that people who need help should get help. But I think with these programs, a lot of them are so broad that maybe people who don't need help are getting the money anyway. And I think that's the government's fault for not being able to target people who need the help the most. If we were able to target people who need help the most, I think there would have been several stimulus checks going to people who absolutely need it. I think the hesitancy for stimulus checks is that it's going to a broad amount of people, and a lot of people don't need those stimulus checks because and then people who oppose the stimulus checks are pointing to those people saying, hey, they're already well off, why are they getting more stimulus checks? They don't have the system in place to give stimulus checks to the people who need it the most. That's my opinion anyway, and that is all the stimulus news I have for you today. To hopefully cheer you up a bit, here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, I'm going to give you the 5 positive tips to make you start your day and make you be positive and grateful as much as you can. So first, stay happy, stay strong, and have good vibes, and do great to others when they do great to you. And also, you know this one, be nice to others when you be nice to them. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time. So me and the girls and my wife So as a family, we're all going to the beach. We're going to hang out. That's our favorite thing to do. Honestly, besides the beach, maybe we'll go see some friends, but that's it. We live at the beach. And I know I keep saying like that's what we do, but that's literally all we do. We just go to the beach. Anyways, if you want to check out any of my other videos, you could click down here for more stimulus updates. Click up here for my other channels, and hopefully soon I'm actually going to put more time and energy into these channels up here. It's just this channel takes a lot of time to do, and I haven't really had much time for my Wise Sense and Wise Vibes channels, but I am going to start making videos for them soon. So hopefully you have a great day. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.